Hey, what's going on, guys? MajorLeaugeShooter here. Today I actually have another firearms review for you guys. This one in particular is on the Glock 19. I know there's hundreds of Glock 19 reviews and everything like that, but this one I like to think it's a little bit different, simply because I've actually put quite a number of rounds through this. I like to put a number of rounds through my firearms before I actually make a review, and the simple reason for that being is anybody can just open up a box and give their first impressions, but first impressions seem to change after you have a certain amount of experience with the said firearm. So with that being said, this is the Glock 19, as I said before, and I really hope you guys enjoy this video. Hey, what's going on, guys? In the video you guys are about to watch, I just want to give out a quick correction before you guys, bite my head off. The Glock 19 is manufactured in Austria, not Australia. In the video 3 times back to back, I ended up saying Australia for some reason. I don't know why. It might be because I'm Mexican and my tongue just kind of messes up words from time to time, or maybe it's the fact that I'm sick, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is I did mess up and I said Australia, not Austria. So that's something to keep in mind. This firearm is, the place of origin is Austria. So here you go. So what's going on, guys? Like I said, this is the almighty Glock 19. Why do I say almighty, you ask? Basically, it's simple. It's because, most people out there who review this specific firearm review it as if there is no other firearm that even comes close as a competition for this specific firearm, which there is some sort of some merit of truth in those statements, but I highly disagree with the fact that they say that there is no other competition that comes close to this. I know Glock's motto is Glock perfection, which I also disagree, which I'll get into in a little bit. But this is a fantastic firearm, but it is by no means the best. Which I know probably people are going to get mad because I say that. I do like Glock, guys. FYI, if I didn't like Glock, I wouldn't own a Glock, which I do own a couple of Glocks. So like I said, this is a Glock 19, and Glocks basically are polymer framed, short recoil operated, locked breech, semi-automatic pistols. This one in particular is the compact, which is basically smaller than your full-size pistol, but bigger than your subcompact firearm. Now the place of origin for this is Australia. I would try to tell you the name of the city that it's from or manufactured, but I'm not Australian now, don't try to be, and to be honest, I can't pronounce it whatsoever. So for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna say Australia. On the side of the slide right here, I don't know if you can see it, it's stamped 9x19, and basically what that is the cartridge that it uses. It does use the 9x19 Parabellum, or commonly referred to as the 9mm Luger round. This is a fantastic firearm, guys. I do like 40s, I do like 45s. I do like a lot of other cartridges, but for some reason I always tend to default back to the 9mm because I find myself being able to control the recoil a lot more efficiently. And when you control the recoil a lot more efficiently, you get target acquisition at a faster rate of speed, which in my opinion is critical in a self-defense or combat-oriented situation or scenario. So I value that over the size of the caliber, period. Now bear with me, guys, I am sick, so if I pause a lot or I cough or whatever, don't mind me. Excuse me. I'm trying to make this work as much as I can. But the length of this firearm is 7.36 inches. The height is at 4.99 inches. The width of this firearm comes in at 1.18 inches. The barrel height comes in at 1.26 inches. The length between the front and the rear sights comes in at 6.02 inches. And the barrel length itself, the actual barrel, comes in at a 4.01 inches. The weight of this firearm on an empty magazine, unloaded, is 23.65 ounces, and loaded comes in weighing at 30.18 ounces. Now the trigger on this firearm, I gotta say, is wonderful. You know, Glock advertises this firearm coming in at 5.5 pounds, but to be honest, this firearm, it does not feel like a 5-pound trigger because it's just so crisp. It snaps so easy, and the reset is also very well. Sorry. The trigger travel of this firearm comes in at 0.49 inches. So it's not bad. It is actually very well, in my opinion. The length of twist is 9.84 inches, so it's actually not that bad at all. Standard capacity to this firearm, it does come with a 15-round magazine, but say if you're in California like we do, does also have the optional 10-round magazines. Also the 17 magazines, which are also interchangeable with the Glock 17s and other firearms. And also the 33-round magazines. So the fact that you have optional magazines are great, and I gotta say, these magazines are actually great. I've actually never had a magazine malfunction on me, which is pretty cool. Now, this is a fantastic firearm. The grip feels amazing. As you can see, the little hump on the actual grip itself does go perfectly into my arch right here in the palm of my hand, which lets me have a very good purchase on this firearm. It feels great even shooting and everything. Even the little humps right here go perfectly with my fingers, and this little cutout right here on the trigger well just makes it that much better. It does have the slide, or excuse me, sorry, I'm having a brain fart. The little cutout right here so you can mount your magazines. Not your magazines, excuse me, your flashlights or lasers or whatever. And the fact that it is a polymer frame does make it significantly lighter, which is a big plus in my opinion. On an empty magazine, it does seem like it's top heavy, but obviously if you put your magazine in there, it just balances out absolutely great. Excuse me. This is a fantastic firearm. Now, it's not perfect, and this is why I don't think it's perfect. Although I've never seen this happen, you know, the rear sights or period, because I've heard a couple people say that the front sight does too, but the rear sights tend to break off. I've never seen it, but I've heard a lot of people tell me these kinds of stories. So typically, if you're going to replace anything, the very first thing you need to replace is the rear sights. I haven't done it yet for the sake of, you know, testing out this firearm. But I think I'm going to do it anyway because of the amount of stories that I've heard of things like that happening to them. It has to have some merit of truth. So, now I don't agree with when Glock says Glock perfection, because if it was perfect, you know, people wouldn't be replacing the rear sight or the sights period to this firearm. And I don't like the serrations right here for you to get a grip or whatever. It's kind of hard. I mean, you could do it just fine, obviously, with practice, but you have to actually get a very good purchase on here, because if you kind of like whatever grab it, it will slide off. The serrations are not that great on the slide, so you can pull the slide back and, you know, loading a magazine. Another one of my down things, well, actually, those are my only real down things, but a lot of people tend to complain, well, not really complain, but do a trigger job on these pistols. So that's basically where I get the gun isn't perfect. If the gun was perfect, as some people preach, then you wouldn't want to do anything to it. It would be already good right out of the box, which it is good, but it's not perfect out of the box. I myself am probably, the only thing I'm going to do is replace these rear sights and probably cut in deeper to these serrations right here so I can get a better purchase on the slide when racking around. The trigger, for me, it's actually very well. You know, I mean, I'm not going to do a trigger job on here whatsoever, but I got to tell you, Glocks, where they shine is the amount of aftermarket parts that you can get on the market. You can get sides, barrels, magazine wells, trigger jobs. I mean, you name it. This thing, you know, is a top contender to some of the most customizable firearms out in the market, like the 1022, the Mosin Nagants, or even AR-15s for that matter. But I mean, is it that extreme? No, but you can do a lot of things to these firearms, and I gotta say, that's a big thumbs up in my opinion. In a scale of 1 through 10, I would rate this gun a 9 out of 10. And, you know, maybe like an 8.8 out of 10, to be honest. And the reason it's not a 9 or like a perfect 9 or a perfect 10, I should say, is because of the sights and the serrations. They're not good. They're not up to my liking, but it feels great. But although it's not a perfect gun, it is a great firearm. And to be honest, I recommend this to everybody, even if you're an expert at shooting or you're brand new to shooting. This is a very easy gun to learn on, you know, basically for the most part. Put the magazine into the magazine well, rack your round into the chamber, and pull the trigger, and then you're ready to rock. So it's a very easy. You don't have to worry about, you know, safeties or anything like that. So it does also come in good for a carry purposes. This is my carry gun. I don't like subcompacts for carrying. I think they're too small, and in the most part they're a little bit too snappy for my liking. But this gun is perfect in my opinion. I think it was James Yeager who actually said that the Glock 19 is small enough to carry but big enough to fight with, and I think there's a very big merit of truth in those statements, because it is small enough to carry because I carry it, and it is big enough to fight with because it is fairly accurate. Now, obviously, with your full-size fire or your full-size pistols, you'll get better accuracy for the most part, but this Glock right here is good enough. And I wouldn't mind fighting with this, to be honest, but if I had to choose, obviously I'd choose something better in that area of expertise. But all in all, like I said, I give it like an 8.8 out of 10, which is still very, very good in my book. So that's it. That about does it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to add anything, please leave it in the comments. I really want to hear them. You know, I do everything in my power to respond to everybody because I love, you know, what you guys do. You guys help me out. I'm learning from you guys too, so yeah, just so you guys know. But also, you know, you can find me on my social media like Facebook, Twitter, or even Instagram. So if you want to look me up, I'm going to put all that in the description down below. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. God bless you, and God bless America.